We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got Joan Jones in the newsroom. We got Mason Fleming producing, and we got you guys all over the place. YouTube chat, text line, phone line, 615-737-9986. Thank you for listening to the show. However you may be listening to the show, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble, we'll have video for all the audio that you hear. Just make sure that you hit like and you hit subscribe while you're in there. We appreciate you doing so, helping us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. Let's start today with some good news. We got a lot of good news. Air travel returning to normal. Not a moment too soon. The Federal Aviation Administration has ended its flight reduction emergency order today. Flights are going to resume normal operations, officials have announced. Again, not a moment too soon. As we head into the holiday weekend, it was looking like that could have been a bit of chaos, if you will. Chaos with a capital Ch.
Just a little bit.
Nobody was looking forward to that.
No.
You got something, Joan?
No, I was just laughing at the chaos.
It looked like it was going to be chaos.
Yeah.
We don't want that. The cuts, which started a 4% reduction in flights at 40 major airports on November 7th, were designed to address some fatigue. It's a bit of fatigue. It was called shutdown fatigue. Staffing issues. Nobody was getting paid. People had to go work second jobs, and there was a bit of an issue. It's being rolled back now that the staffing levels have stabilized, and they say with the end of the government shutdown last week, it's going to be back to normal in no time. So you'll be able to make it to Grandma's for Thanksgiving, or Grandma will be able to make it to you for Thanksgiving, one way or the other. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Don't worry. They were just using the government shutdown because of those elections. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. So there's that. That's the good news. We also got a lot on the Epstein front. It has devolved over the weekend into a Trump-Marjorie Taylor Greene beef, which we'll talk about. Long story short on the Epstein stuff, the emails that had been released, well, you could search them. You could search them, and the weaponized autists on the internet were at it all weekend long. And they had all weekend to search all of these newly released emails, like 2,300 emails. And Trump has come out of it unscathed. He did nothing wrong, and everyone knows it. The emails prove it. What do you got? The Democrats, it seems like they're moving away from the wall-to-wall Epstein coverage because they know. President Trump has come out and changed his stance on Truth Social, saying, as I said Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein and are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc. And the relationship to Epstein. The House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we're winning big, our victory on reducing inflation, from the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record. The rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. That was Trump's take on it as the weekend went on, saying we have nothing to hide. Go for it. Vote to release him by all means. But we're seeing some friction between the president and one Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Trump went as far last night to call her a traitor. This is Trump. He was about to get on the airplane to leave Florida to head back to the White House. He spent the weekend in Florida. And while he's about to get on Air Force One, he's asked by a gaggle of reporters about the Marjorie Taylor Greene beef.
Be in danger because of the rhetoric?
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
He's a savage. Marjorie Taylor Greene does say that she's getting a bunch of death threats. She's blaming the president and his rhetoric. We're going to talk about that. Let's be perfectly honest. Conservatives aren't sending Marjorie Taylor Greene death threats. She's probably getting death threats from radical left lunatics who are mad at her and the things that she said in the past. But I digress. We'll talk about that. Make no mistake about it.
How can she tell the difference between the ones she used to get and the ones that she's getting now?
That's where I'm at.
Honestly.
And do you think that conservatives are so angered at Marjorie Taylor Greene that they're going to send her death threats over the weekend?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I think that's bovine scatology to the highest order. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I kind of agree with the president. Like, nobody cares about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I like her. I don't dislike her. I'm not hating on her. I don't really necessarily care what she has to say about this. I don't. It seems like she's become more and more of a thorn in the side of the president and this administration since we took power back in January. But we'll cover all of that. 1,600 of the emails, they're saying, of the 2,300 emails that were released by Congress last week that were turned over by the Epstein estate, they say that 1,600 of them mention President Trump. And this is kind of the issue that I have currently about the Epstein stuff. It's a lot of headline spinning and narrative pushing. They're trying to say Trump's a pedo. They're trying to push the Marjorie Taylor Greene versus Trump. And it's a lot of noise when it comes to the Epstein files. We have to quiet the noise down. 1,600 of the 23-some hundred emails mention Trump. That's what we're getting from the mainstream media. What they're not telling you in that headline is the key word there, mention. Mention. It doesn't say who's mentioning him in those headlines from the Wall Street Journal. Isn't that convenient? Don't you find that a bit convenient? Most of the emails were after Trump got elected in 2016 when Epstein began working with Democrats to go after Trump. Yeah, I know. Weird. You're not hearing that on CNN. And people are saying this. Who is saying this? Well, let's enter Barry Levine. He's a biographer of Jeffrey Epstein. He went on with CNN, and he said a lot of these emails, guys, you have to understand, it's Democrats being angry at Trump. You can look at the Wall Street Journal article yourself, by all means. But the reality of the situation, and Barry Levine, the biographer, goes on CNN, says the reality of the situation is that Trump is one of the reasons why Epstein is busted. And he says that the emails that have been released point to Epstein knowing that fact.
On that 2011 email, we'll put it up on the screen, and I will ask you, the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. What do you think he's referring to?
Well, I think Jeffrey Epstein is referring to the fact that he believes that Donald Trump talked to Michael Ryder, who was the Palm Beach police chief in 2004, and began the first investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. I suspect that Jeffrey Epstein, in his conversation or email with Maxwell, was saying he was 75% there, believing that Trump might have been the whistleblower at the time. Again, you have to remember that particular year, the two men had a falling out, not only over the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell was taking young women from his spa at Mar-a-Lago for Jeffrey Epstein, but they also had a nasty real estate deal that both men were trying to get. So there was bad blood between the two of them.
So that's the Epstein biographer, Barry Levine, saying that the emails actually show Epstein is upset because he thinks that Donald Trump was the one that dropped a dime on him in 2004. Now, that's not the first time that we've heard this kind of talk. I mean, we've heard it from the defense attorney for Epstein victims, Bradley Edwards, who said when he went and tried to reach out to all these elite and powerful people, the only one who gave him the time of day was Donald Trump. We heard it a few months back when I think it was Mike Johnson. Yeah, it was Mike Johnson. He said that Trump was an FBI informant against Epstein. Now, he walked those comments back a couple days later and said, I didn't have the verbiage right. I didn't say that correctly. But this is kind of in line with a lot of that. So the CNN host decides to jump all over this, and he gets a little bit panicked.
Okay, so it's a combination then of the Trump being the dog who didn't bark and that additional line on that email. We'll put it back on the screen. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there, meaning he's 75% there to believing that Trump is an informant against him?
That is what I believe based on my research of years of the Jeffrey Epstein story.
Okay, but
you also have to
Barry,
remember that
Barry,
the House Speaker at one point,
Barry, if Donald Trump were an informant, if Donald Trump dropped the dime on Jeffrey Epstein, why wouldn't he today, in this climate, be shouting it from the mountaintops? I'm the one who put him away.
That's a question that only the president can answer. And again, the Palm Beach police have never said that Donald Trump was an informant. However, not too long ago, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, said that Donald Trump was an informant on this particular case. So it is rather confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing. And if it's true, Trump should come right out and scream that from the mountaintops. I wish he would. Who knows? Who knows? It's just speculation at this point. And that was Barry Levine. He's the author of The Spider. It was an Epstein biography. He's done a lot of research into this. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe he's wrong. One thing that they're not telling you, though, is that in a lot of these emails that were released by Epstein, a lot of Democrats get mentioned. Democrats in these emails directly talking with Epstein about Trump. Larry Summers is one of those guys Trump mentioned in the True Social post. Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton, later the president of Harvard University. He was discussing his interactions in these emails with Epstein. You got Summers. He's not the only Democrat in orbit of Epstein. Catherine Rumler is a former White House counsel under Barack Obama, sent a message to Epstein calling Trump so gross. A portion of those messages were redacted, but Epstein replied, worse in real life and up close. So you're getting this picture from the emails that Epstein doesn't like Trump, Trump doesn't like Epstein, but the narrative that you're getting from the mainstream media is that Trump is covering this up. Okay. Weird. Also, Did anybody see the Epstein emails? Did CNN highlight the emails where there is a Democrat funding group, Dynamic SRG, contacting Jeffrey Epstein in 2013 to promote then freshman Congressman Hakeem Jeffries? Oh, that's strange. Do you know what they were calling him in these emails? Brooklyn's Barack. And they were urging Epstein to support a major Democrat funding push behind Hakeem Jeffries. That's weird. I didn't notice that in the wall-to-wall coverage. Did you notice that in the wall-to-wall coverage? At Timu Obama, they were angling for a major Democrat funding push from Epstein?
What?
It's weird. Why would they have left that out? Why? Oh, maybe it's because this is the Democrat hoax that Donald Trump has been telling you it was. They're using it as a bludgeon to get Trump, but everybody knows had they had any information, they would have got Trump already. And that's not even the biggest. The stuff I mentioned is small potatoes compared to the biggest revelation that we got from over the weekend with these emails. And it comes to Democrat Representative Stacey Plaskett. You may know her from the United States Virgin Islands. Stacey Plaskett got exposed because of these emails, exposed texting Jeffrey Epstein during a House hearing investigating Donald Trump. Wow, I missed that on MSNBC. I didn't see that on CNN. That's so weird. What a coincidence. They must have just missed it. I'm sure that had they known, they would have covered this with some vigor, don't you think? Stacey Plaskett was texting Jeffrey Epstein during a House hearing investigating Donald Trump, questioning Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen. At the time, she was on the House Oversight Committee that handled the Epstein files. Stacey Plaskett is now on the House Intel Committee. Stacey Plaskett needs to have all of her records subpoenaed. Stacey Plaskett deserves a much larger investigation around her. We're going to talk a lot about Stacey Plaskett on the way. Democrats are ignoring this bombshell that shows Stacey Plaskett was colluding with Epstein during a House hearing. We're going to talk about it when we get back. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Floor Nashville. I've told you about Ricky Dar before, and I'm going to tell you about him again. It's great to support a business with biblical values. This is what we want to do. We want to support businesses that don't hate us and hate our beliefs. Floor Nashville is that business for you. These guys have been doing it since 2006. Again, founded by Ricky Dar. He's got over 25 years of experience serving our city with craftsmanship and care you can count on. He'll bring the showroom right to your house. You can sample flooring in your own space, get expert guidance from their professional installers, and you can enjoy same-day in-home estimates delivered electronically from hardwood to carpet to tile, luxury vinyl, custom showers. Floor Nashville does it all, and you're going to get precision installations every single time. Now, beyond the beautiful floors, Ricky Dar then takes a lot of the money he makes and he gives back through Revive the City. This is a local outreach bringing hope and faith to Nashville every first and third Saturday of the month. They spread the gospel of Jesus Christ in their free time. You can learn more about that at revivenashville.net. But if you want to support a business that doesn't hate you, you want to transform your space, focus on a Christian business that wants to make a difference at the same time, schedule your free home estimate today with Floor Nashville. You can go to floornashville.com or you can call them 615-613-4684. That's 615-613-4684, floornashville.com.
The cost of some weight loss drugs is dropping. Also, there's a new way to buy a used car. It's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got a lot of information on the Jeffrey Epstein files. A lot of information that the mainstream media isn't talking about for whatever reason. It's probably a coincidence. It's probably nothing. We're going to talk a lot about Stacey Plaskett. Real quick, though, we are 1 week away from our More Than a Meal Radiothon, benefiting the Nashville Rescue Mission. Every single year we do it on the Monday before Thanksgiving. We are so excited to once again team up with these guys. We love the Nashville Rescue Mission. I love that they don't take a dollar of government money. They don't spend your tax dollars on any of this. They're totally crowdsourcing everything. So once a year we get with these guys and we raise a bunch of money. And we're going to be doing it again. And we need your help. It's that time of year. You can learn more at NashvilleRescueMission.org or 997WTN.com. And we look forward to joining you live from the Nashville Rescue Mission next Monday. It's going to be an awesome day. It's honestly, those days, I walk out of the Nashville Rescue Mission, and it's like, yep, this is what we signed up to do. We do a lot of good, and it's overwhelming because we can't do any of it without you. So we appreciate you guys. Again, 997WTN.com for more information. So who is the House Democrat that was exchanging texts with Epstein on how to hurt Trump during 2019 congressional hearings? Well, that was Representative Stacey Plaskett. She runs the U.S. Virgin Islands. And during a 2019 congressional hearing, Epstein was giving her help in real time on questions to ask to damage President Trump's reputation. We're learning this from these newly released documents. Again, CNN didn't highlight this. MSNBC, it's not even MSNBC anymore, it's MS Now. MS Now, they didn't highlight it. I don't see a lot of the Democrats talking about this. And to be fair, I don't see many conservatives talking about this either. And this is a huge deal. Not only were they looking at guys like Hakeem Jeffries and calling him a rising star and trying to figure out how they can get Epstein behind him to help him raise some money, but he was texting with Democrat congressional reps during hearings to hurt Trump. This is a bombshell, and it seems like nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. We'll break it all down when we get back. We have video that proves everything. So join us on YouTube, join us on Rumble, hit like, hit subscribe, and you'll hear all the audio on your radio as well. We'll break it all down next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. An update on that crash this morning on 40 westbound. The lanes are now open between Lebanon and Watertown, exit 239 and 238. However, it's still very slow. In the news this morning, before most of us were even awake, the FAA lifted its order to scale back flights at the nation's busiest airports. WSMV4's Joylyn Bukovac at the Nashville International Airport.
The agency says staffing issues have now stabilized, and they're seeing far less staffing trigger events, which is what initially set off those reductions in the first place. And now that those reductions have ended, travelers, they should start seeing less delays and more predictable connecting flights as well. All this comes just in time for getting ready for Thanksgiving. That's less than 2 weeks away, and that's one of the busiest travel seasons.
The flight cuts have been in effect for 10 days. Prices for weight loss drugs, Wegovy and Ozempic, dropping 30%. The maker is Novo Nordisk. They say that's for people who pay for it in cash, not insurance. And there are some other changes, too.
The daily pill will be available in multiple doses, like the weekly injections. And effectiveness is anticipated to be very close to the injections. For now, competitor Eli Lilly has not made an announcement about reducing costs this year. And they, too, have a GLP-1 pill seeking FDA approval that they hope is available by next summer, starting at $149 a month.
That's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula. A new way to buy a used vehicle. Ford Motor Company partnering with Amazon creating a new marketplace to buy used certified pre-owned Fords online. Customers will be able to secure financing, start the paperwork, and then pick up the vehicle at a local Ford dealership. Amazon also has a deal with car rental company Hertz to sell used vehicles through its site as well. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. If you own your home in Tennessee and you're noticing that your floors are dipping or they're creaking underfoot, you got cracked spider webbing across your walls or doors sticking like they got a mind of their own, these aren't quirks in your home. These aren't fun little things. These are actually red flags. And they're warning signs from a foundation that is crying out for help. And if you leave it unchecked, it's going to snowball into costly chaos, threatening the very heart of your home. This is why you need to put your trust in United Structural Systems. These guys, for over 30 years, since 1994, have fortified more than 30,000 Tennessee homes against the elements, keeping them level, leak-free, rock-solid. They're not going to send a pushy sales guy. Their expert team inspects everything. They bring honesty with them. They're going to craft a custom fix like steel I-beam reinforcements, crawl space encapsulation, basement waterproofing, all with American-made materials that'll stand the test of time. And the lifetime transferable warranty that they leave, that's peace of mind that you can pass down. So don't wait for the ground to shift out from under you. Reach out to the pros that we rely on, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or head over to USSTN.com. It's 9:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got 4 kids. They eat a lot of food. And I tell them all the time, if you want more than bread and water, we're going to need to get the likes up on the YouTube channel. So hit like and hit subscribe. Christmas is on the way. So it's really up to you. What are the kids going to get for Christmas? Hit like and subscribe to find out. So
Might be rocks again.
might be again. They'd be very disappointed. They'd be like, Dad, 2 Christmases in a row? So, like, talk to the audience.
Listen, it's a different shape this time.
I'm going to bring them in. They're going to be in. I'm going to bring all the kids in after Christmas. That way they can guilt and shame you if we didn't get the likes up. Hit like and subscribe. We got a lot to get to. I was talking about it earlier, the Epstein files. The short and skinny of the Epstein files that were released is that weaponized autists have been able to comb through these records all weekend long, searching all of the new emails that have been released, 2,300 something emails, and Trump came out of it unscathed. He did nothing wrong. Everybody knows it. The Democrats, on the other hand, they've come out of this with quite a few blemishes, quite a few. And you're seeing mainstream media change the focus. They're saying Trump flipped. Now he wants Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files. Yep, he changed his mind. That's okay. Then they say, oh, he's got beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene. We'll address that here in a little bit. I'm not overly concerned or worried about the beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene, to be perfectly honest with you. Marjorie Taylor Greene seems like she's been more of a thorn in the side of this administration this year than anything else. We'll talk about it, though, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it as well. Where I want to focus right now, though, is the bombshell revelation that the Democrats are not covering one bit in their wall-to-wall Epstein saga and drama that we've seen. They're doing everything they can to hurt the president, but they're not talking about what their own party has done. Isn't that weird? Don't you find that strange? I mean, we saw in the emails that there was some young upstart, the Brooklyn Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, and they were trying to get him some fundraising money. This is in emails from a Democrat funding group with Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about Stacey Plaskett, the Democrat rep out of the United States Virgin Islands, and how she was texting in real time with Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing with Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, and she was doing this to find ways to hurt Trump. New York Post has the story. So it's a wild story, dude. Nobody in the mainstream media is covering this with any sort of vigor that you would want them to cover it with. But we will, because it's fun. Jeffrey Epstein was feeding questions to Rep. Stacey Plaskett during a 2019 congressional hearing, the New York Post reports, and giving her real-time help on how to damage President Trump's reputation, newly released documents show. The texts, first reported by the Washington Post, show the convicted pedophile pontificating with Plaskett during a February 27, 2019 House Oversight Committee hearing, in which then former president's ex-attorney Michael Cohen testified about Trump's alleged payments to mistresses to silence stories before the 2016 election. Trump has vehemently denied all of those allegations. In the text, Epstein appeared to be watching on television while Cohen brought up former Trump executive assistant Rona Graff in his testimony. They were texting for a while, and the records are out there. You can go in. I mean, it starts with a text from Epstein at 10:02 a.m. in which he says, "Great outfit," to Stacey Plaskett. "You look great. Great outfit. Great outfit. You look great." It's creepy. She says, "Thanks," shortly thereafter. Then Epstein texts, "Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of the secrets." "Rona?" Plaskett responded. "Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym?" she added, suggesting that she would be questioning Cohen soon. Now, before you say, well, this who knows if this is real, it's funny you should mention that, because people cross-reference this with a video of the testimony. And not only do you have her in real time, coinciding with the timestamps, looking down at her phone, but then she's conveniently bringing up those questions, and the video's been isolated. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, on YouTube or Rumble or Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, you'll see on this video the text message thread going underneath the video. But if you're listening on the radio, we'll spell it out for you as well. This is from the Washington Post. Newly released documents reviewed by the Post appear to indicate that during a 2019 hearing where Michael Cohen testified, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with Stacey Plaskett, Democrat out of the Virgin Islands. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing and matched the texts, which were sent in Pacific time with
This was
the
when
video.
Barack Obama was president of the United States.
There's a text there, and it says, "Are you chewing?" to Stacey Plaskett. Sent 1 minute.
And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago,
She texts back, "Not anymore."
he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that?
As this line of questioning is going on, Stacey Plaskett is texting with Jeffrey Epstein. Why hasn't CNN reported that? Why is anybody paying attention at CNN? Why is that not the lead story today? Stacey Plaskett is on the House Oversight Committee that handled the Epstein files. She's now on the House Intel Committee. She's sitting there during a congressional hearing texting with Jeffrey Epstein. During that exchange, Michael Schellenberger has the whole breakdown on his Twitter account, and you can find this in all the emails as well. During that exchange, he says, Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of the secrets, misspelling Graf's last name. Plaskett says, Rona? Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym? Adding that she would question Cohen soon. This is all happening during what you're hearing there.
Is that accurate, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh.
The
You got to
Trump
quickly give us
organization.
as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graf is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot.
As that question is being asked, as Michael Cohen begins answering the question, Jeffrey Epstein texts Stacey Plaskett, the Democrat rep out of the Virgin Islands, and says, I quote, "Good work." Good work. So we have evidence here of Democrats working with Epstein. Democrats texting with Epstein in real time, trying to hurt Trump. And the narrative that's being pushed is that Trump is trying to cover up the Epstein files. That's the narrative. Interesting. Good work. Are there other people that we should be meeting with? Can you tell me about Miss Rona? What is Miss Rona's? That's Mr. Trump's executive assistant. Michael Cohen jumps in. Then she gets a good work, a pat on the head from notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. These texts were released as part of the around 20,000 pages of documents from Epstein's estate made public Wednesday by the House Oversight Committee. The documents redacted Plaskett's name, but the newspaper analyzed the messages, compared them to the hearing footage to report that Plaskett was indeed the one texting Epstein. And mind you, New York Post reports, at the time, Epstein was already convicted on state prostitution charges, and months later he'd be charged with sex trafficking minors. He's already been convicted on state prostitution charges, and this Democrat, Stacey Plaskett, is getting a pat on the head from Epstein. How is that not the biggest story in America today? Plaskett initially declined comment, but after the newspaper published its story Friday night, her office issued a statement confirming she had contact during the hearing with her former campaign donor. This is what they said. During the hearing, Congresswoman Plaskett received texts from staff, constituents, and the public at large, offering advice, support, and in some cases, partisan vitriol, including from Epstein, the statement said. As a former prosecutor, she welcomes information that helps her get at the truth and took on the GOP that was trying to bury the truth. The Congresswoman has previously made her long record combating sexual assault and human trafficking, her disgust over Epstein's deviant behavior, and her support for his victims. It's funny that she says that because, again, the text messages were after the state prostitution convictions. Stunning and brave. The Virgin Islands delegate in July 2019 vowed to part ways with $8,100 in campaign donations the convicted pedophile gave her after initially saying she planned to keep the cash. In June 2023, Plaskett made more headlines when she tripped over her tongue on MSNBC, saying that Trump needs to be shot over his alleged mishandling of classified documents before quickly correcting herself to say that he should be stopped. Trump earlier this week called on the Department of Justice to probe Epstein's links to Democrat bigwigs and institutions like J.P. Morgan Chase. Pam Bondi on Friday instructed Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, to oversee the investigation, vowing it would be handled with urgency and integrity. It's weird that, we've had CNN on all morning. Murphy leaves it on. I've not seen Stacey Plaskett's name mentioned once. I've heard that Trump is reverting course. He's changing course, and now he wants the Republicans to vote. I've heard that there's a big beef happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump, but I haven't seen Stacey Plaskett's name anywhere in mainstream media. That's weird. That's weird. And I think it's important to point out, this is new information. But when it comes to Donald Trump and his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, him covering up Jeffrey Epstein, we've had no new info. None. A lot of new information has come out about how the Democrats have been working with Jeffrey Epstein. But for Trump, we haven't learned anything new. Scott Jennings laid this out on CNN over the weekend.
Connection to Epstein, as shown in those emails, according to Epstein, is unsavory, and it's not good. Is
that new information that he knew Jeffrey Epstein? Is it new information that Trump excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago? Is it the only new information that we got this week off those emails was that somebody from the New York Times was advising Jeffrey Epstein, and we learned tonight from the Washington Post that Jeffrey Epstein was programming Democratic members of Congress. We didn't learn anything we didn't already know about Donald Trump, which was Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump, and now Democrats are aligning themselves with Jeffrey Epstein because Orange Man bad.
Democrats are aligning themselves with Jeffrey Epstein because Orange Man bad. Trump derangement syndrome at its finest. Listen, I want all the Epstein files. You know that. We all want them. We understand the powerful people that were involved in this. We understand that there have been some unforced errors by the Trump administration during all of this. And there's been pushback. Rightly so. Conservatives have said that the methods feel off, that the leaks feel, just completely mishandled, talking about the binders with Pam Bondi. When Trump said, if you keep pushing this hoax, you're not a supporter of mine, that felt off. We all understand. But I think when you look at the Epstein stuff today, you can't say that it is anything other than forced and manufactured outrage by the left. That's all we're seeing. Mike Johnson, House Speaker, said last week that he's going to put the bill compelling the release of the government files related to Epstein on the House floor this week. That could come as early as tomorrow. Trump has now said he wants Republicans to release the files. So I would just say stay patient. A vote is coming. But the current synthetic wall-to-wall coverage is just there to try and hurt President Trump, to detract and distract from the wins of this administration. And I think a lot of it is bovine scatology. Donald Trump commented on it. And he said that the DOJ should look at some other individuals. We'll bring you those comments when we get back. Plus, we'll get into a little bit of the Trump-Marjorie Taylor Greene beef. It just seems like a sideshow to the main news of the day. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's worth addressing. Marjorie Taylor Greene's addressed it. Donald Trump has addressed it. We'll bring you all of that information on the way. 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
SNAP benefits are back today, but changes may be on the horizon for that program. We've got that and more coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones on the way with the headlines. Mason Fleming is producing, doing it. He's all right.
Listen, I'm trying.
He's giving it his effort.
Hey,
what?
He's knocking it out of the ballpark.
He showed up.
I'm here. My shoes are tied.
He's doing great. He's doing great. Donald Trump. Was this 4D chess all along? Some people on the text line are saying Trump's laying the trap for the Democrats. He's been pushing against the Epstein files hard, so that way the backlash would come the other way. And now that he's saying vote for the release, the Democrats have made their bed and they're going to lay in it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe. I'll let new information change my mind. I don't think that that's the case just yet. But we heard Donald Trump last night on Air Force One saying you have to investigate Epstein's friends.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. You're going to have to look into his friends because, if they're going to do that. And I think the perfect guy to do it would be Southern District, somebody like Jay Clayton. I understand that's who's been assigned. Does the congressman have a point though?
Says, listen, and I know it's a little hard to hear. It's a bit muffled. They're on Air Force One. Planes are loud. Breaking news. Planes are loud. He says, listen, I don't care if the documents are released or not, but you got to look into Epstein's friends. Reid Hoffman, Bill Clinton. He went to the island 28 times, by the way, some people have said. Maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Do you feel confident in this DOJ investigating Epstein's friends? We'll see what happens. I'm praying that the documents all get voted to be released this week. Let's hope so. Let's get some justice for the victims. I think that's what we all want. And this Marjorie Taylor Greene beef does seem to be a bit of a sideshow, but a sideshow that's being focused on nonetheless. We'll talk about it when we get back. 10 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The Pentagon confirming another attack on an alleged drug smuggling boat as it begins military exercises with Trinidad and Tobago. And ABC's Nicole D'Antonio says it comes as another U.S. aircraft carrier has moved into the Caribbean.
President Trump says the U.S. may hold talks with Venezuela's authoritarian president, Nicolas Maduro.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
It comes as the U.S. mounts a show of force in the region. The Navy showing the world's largest and most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, arriving in the Caribbean. It's joined by 3 destroyers, a B-52 bomber, and multiple fighter jets.
The State Department also announcing it's designating another cartel as a foreign terrorist organization, even accusing Maduro of leading it himself. A member of the Metro Nashville Police Department has died unexpectedly. Here's WSMV4.
Metro Police announced Commander Scott Bird has died, and police say Bird suffered a heart attack at his home on Monday while preparing to come into work.
Bird was a 25-year police department veteran. A teenager charged with causing $25,000 worth of damage to the AT&T building in downtown Nashville. News 2's Peyton Kennedy says that officers were called to the Batman building on Sunday afternoon.
The officer found one of the front windows had broken, and they found Benjamin Russell inside. Police say Russell had a hatchet. That 19-year-old suspect now has a felony vandalism charge.
Russell was booked into the Metro jail on a $25,000 bond. The Department of Agriculture restoring full SNAP benefits. They say everyone on SNAP will have been fully restored by the end of the day today. Meantime, USDA Chief Brooke Rollins telling Newsmax that the Trump administration is planning to have everyone receiving SNAP benefits reapply after finding 186,000 dead recipients in 29 red states.
Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? It's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program, have everyone reapply for their benefit.
Rollins saying her department found one person who was using the same Social Security number to receive 6 different EBT cards in 6 different states. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit. It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We love those guys. Joan Jones is in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. They're both okay. And you guys on the text.
Hey, watch yourself. Joan's great.
Joan is great. You're right. I stand corrected. Joan's great. We appreciate you guys joining us on the text line and the phone line, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. If you're watching the show on YouTube or Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit share. We appreciate you helping us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We are 1 week away from going full radiothon. Are you excited about that? Couldn't be more excited. I love the Radiothon. I love the Nashville Rescue Mission. I love that they don't take $1 of government money to do what they do for this city and this community. It's a great cause. The More Than a Meal Radiothon's happening at the Nashville Rescue Mission next Monday. We do it the Monday before Thanksgiving every year. I am also a firm believer that Thanksgiving should be this week. Should be the third week of November. And I'll fight you if you disagree.
It just feels weird with like that. I don't know. We jump into December so quickly.
Yeah, we gotta give me a little breathing room.
Yeah,
a little wiggle space. You know
just
what
recover.
I mean? That's all we need. But nobody asks me about these kinds of things for whatever reason. So anyway, Nashville Rescue Mission, that's next Monday, 997WTN.com if you want more information, or you can go to NashvilleRescueMission.org if you want to get ahead of the game and donate today. Nobody's stopping you. We will ask you for another donation on Monday.
Yeah, I won't go to the total number that we talked about on Monday.
But you can still do it.
Yeah, it's still awesome.
Still feels good.
Feels good.
You know what doesn't feel good? You ready for a radio segue? All the beef in Magaland. There's so much beef. So much beef.
Too much beef.
It feels like this is turning into like East versus West in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Gross.
It's gross. It's wild. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know. Like, do you think, you tell me, do you love Marjorie Taylor Greene? 615-737-9986. Like, honestly, like, is there any like major wins that we can like look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and be like, if it wasn't for MTG, this would have never happened? I don't know. The beef has gotten pretty extreme. President Trump announced that he is withdrawing his support and endorsement from Marjorie Taylor Greene, pointing out that all she seems to do is complain. That's it. She's just she's a big complainer. There was a rumor a couple weeks back. AOC took to I think it was Instagram. I think she was on Instagram Live, and she's like, here's the thing that they don't want to tell you. It's that Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia, and Trump told her no, and she's been on a warpath ever since. Maybe there's some truth to that. There could be some salty butthurt going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But one way or another, President Trump last night, I believe it was last night on Truth Social, over the weekend, said, and I quote, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory for the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars record-setting invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain." Trump's post continued. Seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for Senate or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She's told many people that she's upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore. But with 219 congressmen and women, 52 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, and almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they are too fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She's gone far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Savage. An absolute savage. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't take it sitting down. Nobody expected her to. And she responded to that Trump Truth Social post with a tweet of her own. And she posted this tweet over the weekend, and I'll put it on the screen for you. That way we can detail it together. She said, "President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge. The Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example, to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. Fun fact, Trump is now telling all the Republicans to vote for the release of the Epstein files. So null and void. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, that he actually goes to this level. Again, null and void. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, going broke, trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I've supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. I worship God. Jesus is my Savior. And I serve my district, GA 14, and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been. I will continue to pray for the administration to be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. For me, I remain America first and America only. And she posted these texts saying, check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton is on there like 26 times. Hillary, too. For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been about the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believe that Democrat bad guys like the Clintons were entangled and involved with him. Epstein was the spider that wove the web of the deep state. Lean into it. And she sent it again. She posted the text screenshots. Trump's post comes as Green has accused House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune of being to blame for the government shutdown, which lasted 43 days. She was on The View last week, and Green was also reported as having separated herself from Trump, saying that she stated on The View that she wouldn't vote for Andrew Cuomo and called for files pertaining to Epstein's client list to be released, according to the New York Post. Green also separated her from Trump's regarding his support of Israel. She's also gone on record and said that she's not for all the mass deportation. She's got a construction company to run, and more. This is kind of where we're at. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was asked over the weekend on CNN why she only denounced Trump's rhetoric after it was aimed at her. And on CNN with Dana Bash, she basically says, I'm really sorry about that. I'm so sorry. You're right. You guys are so right. Orange man bad. This is what I'm starting to like. She's losing me, and she's losing me fast.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward.
I got some thoughts. First of all, why are you bending the knee to the radical left and the mainstream media? Why are you bringing up Charlie Kirk, but you're not bringing up the people that celebrated his murder online? Why aren't you bringing up the dozens of individuals who, even in his, even after his death, have called him the most vile of names and accused of him of the most vile of things? What's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene? This feels like a humiliation ritual to me personally. I don't know what it feels like to you. It feels like she is trying to become a Democrat. If you disagree with me, let me know. 615-737-9986.
That is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences.
Yeah, I mean, stunning and brave, Marjorie. Except the other side of the aisle wants us dead. They want our wives and daughters raped and murdered, and they don't seem to bat an eyelash at it. I am so sorry for all of the awful things I've done. I am here to repent on the altar of woke ideology here on CNN in front of the world. Why? Why is she doing this?
And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
What a leader. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Again, is this really because Trump said that she couldn't win the Senate seat? Again, it's important to point out, Trump didn't tell her not to run for Senate. Trump said, you're down by 20 points if you do run. I mean, from the jump, it doesn't look good. And you understand Georgia is a wild place, man. I mean, what they got? They got Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff in there. I mean, you remember. You guys remember. Scott Jennings commented on this.
Technically true, based on what I've heard and what I know, that he didn't tell her not to run, but what she didn't say was that he sent her a poll privately, discreetly, and it had information in it, and it showed her down 20 points to John Ossoff. And so in politics, when you want to send a message to someone that you like or that has been an ally, you don't embarrass them publicly. You privately send them information and show them what the reality is. And so I think it's true that he didn't tell her not to run, but it's also true that he did her a big favor, which is to show her information that a candidacy statewide in Georgia for her would have been a disaster.
Facts. I'm sorry if you're salty and your butt hurt over the facts, but let's not kid ourselves. Madam Jewish Space Lasers is going to have a hard time appealing to normies. It's just the reality of the situation. She can be a great ally for making America great again, and we're here if she wants to rejoin the team. But she seems salty. And that salt has carried over into everything. Scott Jennings went on. Every step of the way, every major victory, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been there as one of Trump's most consistent critics every step of the way.
I do think it started with that political engagement. When they sent her that poll, that's when you start to see everything change. She opposed the president on his Middle East policy, attacking the Houthi rebels, attacking Iran. She's opposed the president on deportations this summer. So she has sort of become a policy opponent of the president, but I think it really all started with that political engagement, and now she's one of his most frequent critics on some of what I would argue has been his biggest successes this year. And if you want to count yourself as an ally of the President of the United States, it's not great to go out and run out to The View and other places and crap on him 24 hours a day. I mean, that's essentially what she's become. It's a well-worn path. A lot of other Republicans who've turned on the president have done that too.
He's right. I mean, are we looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene transforming into an Adam Kinzinger or a Liz Cheney? Potentially. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope she comes back into the fold relatively quickly, but only time will tell. The other Republican catching the ire of President Trump is Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie, I mean, listen, he is what he is. I don't dislike Thomas Massie. And furthermore, I don't dislike Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I think the criticisms here that Scott Jennings brought up completely fair. I think the criticisms from the President of the United States completely fair. And it seems like Marjorie Taylor Greene is just off of her rocker. Thomas Massie, though, at least he's consistent. He had some things to say about Donald Trump and the Epstein files. We'll bring that to you when we get back. It's 10:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. I got to tell you about these guys. We made the investment in our kitchen to get brand new pull-out cabinets and a brand new pull-out pantry, and it's awesome. I love them. My wife does too. My wife was selling me on these pull-out cabinets way before Dan got involved, and I was like, okay, cool, we'll do it. And we looked at the pictures online. We saw them at cabinetmakeoverstn.com, and I was like, okay, that'd be cool. That could work. But after they were installed, I got to tell you, they have completely transformed our kitchen. Not bending over to dig in the back of the cabinets for pots and pans anymore. The kids, how easily they can get snacks out of the pantry. It's a game changer, and it really does make your kitchen special. Everything they did in my home was Tennessee made. Every cabinet, pull-out drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. You're going to love these installed in your house. Maybe you're like, well, I don't need anything in the kitchen. Well, they don't stop at kitchens. Cabinet Makeovers designs custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every single room in your house, all built with the same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Talk to Cabinet Makeovers today. You can call Dan or you can call Christina, 615-331-7010. That's 615-331-7010. Or do what we did first. So this is what we always do. We went to the website and we looked at pictures of the work. CabinetMakeoversTN.com.
How Mayor Freddie O'Connell is responding to calls for the National Guard to help police in Nashville. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love the Better Water guys. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, tune in the FM dial. Watch us, Super Talk TV, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thomas Massey was on with Jonathan Karl over on ABC yesterday. And Donald Trump came up. Jeffrey Epstein comes up. And Massey says, whoa, 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 whoa. I never said that the Epstein files would implicate President Trump.
I mean, it is extraordinary to hear him demand an investigation and only mention Democrats, only mention his political opponents. But you're saying he may not really even want any investigation. He wants to prevent the release. Why does he want to prevent this? What is he afraid of?
You know, I've never said that these files will implicate Donald Trump. And I really don't think that they will. I think he's trying to protect a bunch of rich and powerful friends, billionaires, donors to his campaign, friends in his social circles. And that's my operating theory on why he's trying so hard to keep these files closed.
That's his operating theory. The operating theory is now null and void as Donald Trump on Truth Social has told Republicans to vote for the release of the Epstein files. Null and void, you say. Null and void. Weird. President Trump was asked about these things. This was before he got on the airplane to head back to D.C. from Florida. And President Trump stopped to speak with reporters, and he was asked about Thomas Massie. He was asked about Epstein, and he wasn't holding back, to say the least.
Probe you are calling for could be a smoke screen to block the release of more files. Is that the case?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like you, they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration. So a guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
Listen, this is what I've been saying, especially when you get Jonathan Karl interviewing Thomas Massie, and you know who doesn't come up? Democrat Rep. Stacey Plaskett from the Virgin Islands, who is texting with Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing to hurt Trump. That doesn't come up. You can see the way the media is spinning this. You can see how the narrative is being pushed, and you can just tell it's bovine scatology. Crack me up, though. He's got 6% approval. We call him Rand Paul. We call him Junior Rand Paul. It's terrible. He brought up, he was asked about Marjorie Taylor Greene as well. And if you thought he went hard on Thomas Massie, he didn't hold back against Marjorie Taylor Greene either. This one is a much quicker clip.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you?
Yikes. What a savage. He's right, though. I mean, honestly. Where's the lie? I think the only lie that you could point to is Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she's receiving death threats because the president spoke out against her. That's bovine scatology. You're probably receiving death threats from ridiculous leftists. Let's be real. The president was also asked a couple other things. He was asked about Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. He was also asked about the mayor of New York City. And he didn't have anything to hide with either of these questions. We'll bring you those responses from President Trump when we return. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell hitting back at a call from Congressman Andy Ogles for the National Guard to take up crime in Nashville after a convicted sex offender allegedly attacked a woman inside an elevator, strangled her, and threatened to kill her last week.
You know, I would not say looking at one high-profile incident of crime is reason to change posture with federal and state resources here.
Ogles accuses O'Connell of leading Nashville into anarchy. 29-year-old Jacarius Williams was first convicted in 2019 but set free on probation. He'll make a court appearance tomorrow. In Memphis, a surge of National Guardsmen there is expected this week with up to 210 more troops. They'll join the other federal and state police forces in a continued crackdown on violent crime. So far, the task force says they've made 2,300 arrests, more than 1,000 warrants have been cleared, and 101 missing children have been found. Meantime, in Charlotte, North Carolina, U.S. immigration agents have begun making arrests there, and they were met with these folks. People waving foreign flags blocking the road outside of a DHS facility. The Tennessee man charged with killing 4 members of his girlfriend's family and kidnapping a baby, scheduled to make it his first court appearance today. Austin Drummond will appear before a judge in Lake County for his arraignment. He's already pleaded not guilty in a lower court, but prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty if Drummond is convicted of first-degree murder. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So in Chicago, you had a massive ICE raid. They were pinned in by a bunch of locals and some gang members as well. ICE was. And these guys, these gang members, they had weapons, high-powered weapons. And these ICE agents, they were blocked in by hundreds of these locals. And there's a guy on the roof pointing something at them as well. And so ICE ended up, to get out of this, because they're calling for backup and the whole thing, they ended up releasing some tear gas, and everybody starts freaking out because there is in Chicago, this is so insane, a temporary restraining order that does not allow tear gas to be released unless the ICE agents face an imminent threat or they give 2 prior warnings. Now, first of all, I don't believe that ICE would use tear gas unless it was an imminent threat. But the point is that they're making it harder and harder for ICE to do their job. So, of course, Gregory Bavino, and if you don't know who Bavino is, he is the head of this particular mission, right, in Chicago. And he is being accused of violating the restraining order that does not allow ICE to use tear gas unless agents face an imminent threat or they're given 2 prior warnings. So he hauls in, I love this, Bovino hauls in the tape that if you're watching on YouTube TV, Super Talk TV, you can see they bring in drone footage. They bring in these people making threats against the ICE agents and so forth. And so I love that he does bring in the receipts. And you know what? If that's what these judges are going to do, and if that's what the liberals are going to do, and if that's what these illegal alien gang members are going to do when we come into, their neighborhoods to find the gangbanger illegal aliens, we are going to go even harder. You're going to mess with us? We're going to mess with you harder. I love, love, love that attitude from Bavino.
$10:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, Water Filtration Systems, Water Softeners, BetterWater.com. Mason Fleming producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom. We got a lot to get to. I'm reading the text. People are saying that I'm way off on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Way off. Call in 615-737-9986. Chuck said, "How do you know Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't received any death threats? You're turning into a bully like Trump." I thought it was pretty clear. I'm not saying that she didn't receive any death threats. My doubt is that she's receiving death threats from conservatives because of Donald Trump's statements. I think we all receive death threats. All of us. I'm not shocked that she received death threats, although there's reporting out there. I don't know how much stock you put into Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer said that she talked with Georgia police over the weekend and that there were no threats to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know, man. You tell me. You tell me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, though, I'm not impressed. What major victory has Marjorie Taylor Greene delivered for making America great again? Delivered for the Conservative Party? Anybody? Anybody? What major award? What major victory? Nothing. I'm happy to welcome her back into the fold, but it does seem like she's going against President Trump because she's salty. That's what it seems like. I'm just calling it like I see it. Calling it like I see it. She said her life was in danger because of President Trump. I just have a hard time believing that. Her life could be in danger. I mean, I'm not knocking that, but I would wager it's probably because of crazy leftists that she's pissed off on her own as opposed to the President of the United States. Maybe those crazy leftists are sending death threats, and maybe they're hanging their hat on President Trump. I would do a bit more digging. President Trump said that she's a traitor, and he's not exactly impressed with her. He said nobody cares about her. He said this outside the airplane as he's waiting to board in Florida to head back to D.C. This was last night, Palm Beach International. He was asked a few questions while he was there, too. It wasn't just about Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey. He was asked about the Tucker Carlson interview with Nick Fuentes. This has been a big topic of conversation among conservatives. Who are you allowed to interview? Why would you interview someone like Nick Fuentes? I'm of the opinion Tucker can interview whoever he wants. Man, I don't seem to care who he interviews. President Trump was asked about it, though. Let's see what the president had to say.
I've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
I love that response. You're not going to win any battles by shutting people down and stopping speech. If you don't like Nick Fuentes, not talking to him isn't going to win anybody over. It's going to cause more curiosity. It's the the Barbra Streisand effect. I don't want anybody to know what my house looks like. I don't want anybody to see it. Everybody started trying to find her house. Same thing. If you don't like Nick Fuentes' ideas, debate him. Debate the ideas. It should be relatively easy. Go for it. And I like the president. Let the people decide. Who cares? Tucker's going to interview a lot of people. That's Tucker's prerogative.
The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us, and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
Do your telephone dinner with Nick.
So then any comments on the mayor of New York? Yeah, we want to work with him. We've heard that he's reached out to the administration. I also heard that the mayor of New York raised $1 million for his transition team. It's the only non-taxpayer funded transition, I guess, for the Democrats in a while. But the conversation from the reporter goes back to Fuentes.
At Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way. Okay.
I'm not controversial. I'm not controversial. Not at all. Not at all, sir. You're nailing it. Hilarious. I love it. Debate the ideas. By all means, you can't shut people down. This is America. Last I checked, we have the First Amendment. People have the right to free speech. Debate them. If you're going to be upset, you're going to be salty, debate them. Just debate them. I think that's the easiest way. Or just, I don't know, don't get your panties in a bunch over an interview. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. He was also asked about Secretary Rubio and Venezuela. This is right before he gets on the airplane in Florida to head back to D.C. after spending the weekend in Florida. President Trump on Marco Rubio and Venezuela.
We like to keep Congress involved. I mean, we're stopping drug dealers and drugs from coming into our country. And I actually told Marco and some of the people, our Secretary of State is doing a great job, by the way, I said, go to Congress and let them know we're not letting drugs come through Mexico. We're not letting them come through Venezuela. And let Congress know about it. We don't have to get their approval, but I think letting them know is good. The only thing I don't want them to do is leak information that's very important and confidential and may put our military at risk, or whoever is doing, CIA, military, etc. But I did say, I said, go and see Congress, see the representatives that we're supposed to be seeing, and be open about it. If they say, we don't want you to stop drugs from coming into the country, I don't think that would be good.
No, I don't think that would be good either. I mean, on the Venezuela front, I'm not overly upset about them bombing narco terrorists out of this plane of existence. It doesn't exactly make me shed a tear. I'm not worried about the hostile position we're taking towards Venezuela, who sells oil to Russia and China. I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm not. I won't. In fact, during the campaign, I said quite often, and during the first few months of presidency, you want me to support a war? Let's go after the guys that are pumping drugs into this country. I can get behind that. I can. The president's been making a lot of progress on not just how we're dealing with that, the drug trade and drugs coming into this country, but just the border in general. New numbers coming out of migrants crossing the Darien Gap. In 2022, it was about 250,000. In 2023, it was over 500,000. In 2024, over 250,000. In 2025, 2,941. Not even 3,000. A decline of nearly 100%. The gap is located between Colombia and Panama. It's a dangerous path taken by illegal aliens that are desperate to come to America. Trump is saving the sovereignty of this country, and he's doing a damn good job. I don't know how you could say anything else. The immigration enforcement across the country has been ramping up. We've seen Charlotte, North Carolina, really be targeted over the weekend, and it's a stunning statistic. 900,000 residents in Charlotte, North Carolina, okay? 150,000 of those residents are illegal aliens. I'll just repeat it one more time for you, in case you're listening slow and you want to keep score at home. 900,000 residents in Charlotte, North Carolina. 150,000 illegal aliens. I'm not making this up. The news told the story themselves. This was CBS over the weekend.
Tonight, Charlotte, North Carolina is the latest city to see a surge in immigration enforcement. Officers today started detaining people. The city is made up of more than 900,000 people, including more than 150,000 who are foreign-born, according to officials. Local leaders object to the federal force, saying it instills fear and uncertainty.
Fear and uncertainty for who exactly? For the illegal aliens? I would respond with good. That's actually what we're looking for. And if they want to leave, they're welcome to grab a stipend on the way out the door, or we can find them and they get no stipend and they don't get to come back. By all means, pick your poison. Border Commander Greg Bovino announced a record illegal alien roundup in Charlotte, North Carolina after just one day of the operation that has been taking place. Fox News has the story.
Its web gets underway. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino says the agency arrested more than 80 people on the very first day alone. Meantime, hundreds of activists have since taken to the streets in protest. Correspondent Madison Scarpino live in Charlotte with the very latest for us. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Kevin. Yeah, there was a big protest here yesterday, and I'll get to all that in just a bit. But CBP agents were seen making arrests in several areas of Charlotte since yesterday. CBP Commander Gregory Bovino wrote on X that 81 arrests were made in roughly 5 hours. He says many of the people arrested had, quote, significant criminal and immigration history. DHS says they're targeting criminal illegal aliens in order to protect Americans. They say many illegal migrants have flocked to the Tar Heel state knowing sanctuary policies would allow them to roam free. And these are just some of the criminals DHS says were released after state authorities failed to honor ICE detainers. You're looking at Jordan Renato Castillo Chavez from Costa Rica. DHS says he was arrested for sexual exploitation of a minor, in addition to several other child sex crimes. And also on your screen, Jose Ulloa Martinez, a Honduran national, arrested for murder. But
liberals are coming out to protest these enforcement operations, mind you. Operation Charlotte's Web is taking place across Charlotte, North Carolina, and they're getting guys that are raping kids. And the liberals say, no, sir, no, please. We can't militarize our streets. We have to keep the child rapists safe. Got it. Got it. We're grabbing guys that are murdering people. No, sir. We like our murderers to roam free. We like free-range murderers here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's insane. Operation Charlotte's Web. Per the outlet, nearly 1,400 immigration and customs enforcement detainers across North Carolina have not been honored, meaning those individuals released back onto North Carolina streets because of sanctuary policies. Guys like this loser, Jordan Renato Castillo Chavez, a monster that's raping kids. Child sexual exploitation crimes. Let's protest this, says the liberals. This is a worthy cause that we should get behind. There's a bunch of video footage coming out, but the operation has been a pretty big success. In a statement regarding the surge, Mecklenburg County Republican Party Chairman Kyle Kirby criticized Democrat leaders, saying that they have abandoned their duty to uphold law and order, and we're also demonizing the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, saying, let us be clear, President Trump was given a mandate in 2024 to secure our borders. Individuals who are in this country legally, have nothing to fear. That's the big key takeaway here. But the liberals, they're not going to listen to you. The operation continues.
despite all of that, many Charlotte residents and local officials say these operations are causing, quote, unnecessary fear and uncertainty. Hundreds gathered to protest the operation yesterday, as many protesters are saying people are now living in constant fear. One local bakery owner claims he saw agents yesterday in unmarked cars, masked, throwing immigrants on the ground and taking them away. So he says for now, he's closing the bakery.
Oh, you got too many illegal aliens working there? Is that what's going on? Oh my gosh. I can't run my business with all these illegal aliens that are working slave wages because, we might get busted. So I'm going to close up shop. They're striking fear in everyone's hearts. Apparently, only the ones that are using illegal alien labor. One video has been circulating around. It's got liberals in a tizzy, if you will, having a bit of a fit over this video. This video is U.S. Border Commander Greg Bavino, and it's been going viral. He was in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, during Operation Charlotte's Web, and he said, "This is our effing country. This is our effing country, and we're not going to stop." And the liberals, they started pearl clutching. They're like, "Oh my gosh, how could he say something like this?"
Staring blindly into space. This is our f***ing country. Somebody's taping me. Continue to tape me. It's our f***ing country.
I love the attitude. Is somebody taping me? Are you continue to tape, please. Make sure the lighting looks good. This is our bleeping country. Then they used it for a promo reel for social media. Nice. Listen, I'm all for ramping up immigration enforcement operations. I'm all for getting these deportation numbers up. Lord knows we need to. And we also need to hold the Democrats officials who are getting in the way accountable. We need to see more arrests of Democrat officials that are impeding or standing in the way of ICE. One Democrat official is set to stand trial for what she did at an ICE facility. We'll tell you about that story when we get back. It's 10:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Drivers got a crash in Montgomery County, going to be 24 westbound before ML King Parkway exit 11. And full SNAP food benefits back for Tennessee families here when your EBT card will be reloaded, coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. You know, we actually had one of our guys in the YouTube chat very excited about the SNAP benefits being back.
Ah.
Yeah, we had a liberal ranting again, and somebody said, I bet you he's really excited because he can stock up on Hot Pockets for his mom's basement. So. That's what's going on in the YouTube chat. Hit like and subscribe if you want to join the most unhinged conversation
I'm telling
in
you,
talk
man.
radio. It's wild over there.
That YouTube chat.
I love it. You can join the show anyway you want. You can do it in the YouTube chat. You can do it on the phone line or the text line, 615-737-9986. I've been receiving it's I feel like it's more of a 50-50 split on Marjorie Taylor Greene in the text line. 50-50. I got a text from 5676 though. Chris, you're spinning and leaving out Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill to end H-1B1 visas. I'm thinking that would get her threatened by many. Stop just spinning for Trump and discuss her bill proposal. I responded back. I said, actually, I aired that last week, her H-1B visa bill. But here's the thing that I said to 5676, and I'll say it to you. Not a victory. Introducing or trying to push a bill is not a victory. You got to get it over the finish line for it to count as a victory. And since that doesn't count as a victory, my statement still stands. What has Marjorie Taylor Greene done for the conservative movement? What has she done for making America great again? What is her major victory? I find myself coming up empty. I don't want to overly pile on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I honestly want her to come back into the fold, and I hope that she does. And I hope that this stupid little beef drama between her and Trump ends as quickly as it started, because I think that at the end of the day, that's all it is. It is stupid Twitter drama, and I'm over it. I'm over it. But if you're going to make me pick sides, I mean, I think that decision is pretty easy. Pretty easy. I was saying earlier, we're talking about immigration enforcement. Charlotte, North Carolina was up on the big screen all weekend long. And I said, we need to hold more Democrats accountable. One Democrat is going to be held accountable. It was Thursday, a federal judge ruled that New Jersey Democrat Representative LaMonica McIver must face trial for assaulting a federal law enforcement officer outside that immigration detention facility in Newark, New Jersey. Do you remember that? She was channeling her inner Titans offensive lineman. Remember that? She was throwing bows. U.S. District Judge Jamal Semper denied McIver's demand to drop 2 of the 3 charges levied against her. The judge rejected the Democrats' claims that the charges were excessive due to a motive of political retribution, and that because she's an elected official, she's immune from prosecution, Bloomberg reported. McIver was charged with assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement officers during a riot at Delaney Hall ICE detention facility in Newark in May. I hope that she gets charged for everything. The book is thrown at her, and I hope that she really gets punished for this. And I hope that she's the first of many Democrats that gets the book thrown at her for impeding, because that's exactly what they're all doing. They're all doing it. Not all of them are going full offensive line for the Titans like LaMonica did, but they're all doing it. It's 11 o'clock. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
O'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And here in Tennessee, the Department of Human Services says full SNAP benefits being restored this week. Tennesseans who received only part of their November benefits will see the remainder added to their EBT cards starting today. Prices for many popular weight loss drugs are expected to come down for some customers. Novo Nordisk announced a 30% drop for Wegovy and Ozempic for those who don't use insurance to pay for it. We get more from ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
The daily pill will be available in multiple doses, like the weekly injections, and effectiveness is anticipated to be very close to the injections. For now, competitor Eli Lilly has not made an announcement about reducing costs this year, and they too have a GLP-1 pill seeking FDA approval that they hope is available by next summer, starting at $149 a month.
How hard will it be to find a job for college graduates this coming May? ABC's Jim Ryan reports.
Freshly minted graduates beginning their search for employment will be competing not only with each other, but with artificial intelligence. The job search site Indeed suggests fine-tuning the soft skills that AI doesn't have: conflict resolution, decision-making, interpersonal communication. What's more, AI can be used by job seekers to write effective resumes and to rehearse job interviews. In other words, fighting AI with AI. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
War in Ukraine. France and Ukraine have signed a weapons partnership for fighter jets. We get more from ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge.
This is a hugely significant deal. I mean, it's not going to, change the war tomorrow, because these airplanes, the warplanes which France is promising to supply to Ukraine, and Ukraine will buy them effectively, won't be in Ukraine's airspace for years. But this is the latest generation of French fighter jet, the Rafale. Think of it as being the French equivalent of the F-35.
Yeah, according to the agreement, Ukraine will get up to 100 French fighter jets over the next 10 years. And the skies over America are getting back to normal. The FAA says flight reductions at 40 major airports nationwide ended this morning. The return normalcy just in time as AAA predicts record Thanksgiving travel numbers. ABC's transportation correspondent Gio Benitez reports from New York's LaGuardia.
They expect nearly 82 million Americans to travel this holiday period. That's actually 1.6 million more than last year. You remember that was record-breaking. This is a new record now. So no matter how you're planning to travel, it's a really good idea to schedule that travel for early in the morning. That way you can avoid a lot of the hassle later on.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've been covering a bunch of stuff on the show today. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got Ken Weaver in the newsroom, you guys on the phone lines, and the text line 615-737-99. Democrats. Got another story here from immigration enforcement. This is a wild story. 17-year-old illegal alien let in under Biden found a woman in Plano, Texas, and attacked her with a hammer. Democrats will protest removing these types of people from your country.
Busy and popular park. Already this morning, we've seen several people out alone on walks. Police say that a woman was on a jog when a man attacked her with a hammer. This all happened on Thursday around 5 p.m. The details here, they're disturbing. Plano police tell us the woman was hit in the head with the hammer several times. She managed to fight the man off and he ran away. 4 hours later, police had a suspect in custody. They arrested 17-year-old Sergio Noe de Nova Duerte, an illegal migrant from Mexico. According to DHS, he came in on a tourist visa, and then in March of 2024, he was arrested for burglary and larceny. He was arrested under the Biden administration and was released back into the community with a notice to appear. Now, the woman was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, but police say it could have been a lot worse because duct tape was found at the scene. Many people in this area are on high alert right now, looking out for one another.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And this is because of the wide open border that was left here by the Democrats. Joe Biden, his administration, allowed these vicious monsters to just roam about freely in this country. The Democrats will protest immigration enforcement while this happens. It's insane. It's insane. The administration has changed some of their focus. They're getting back to the economy, and this is a good thing. One of my favorite stories from over the weekend is you got to reapply for your SNAP benefits. This is fantastic. They found so much fraud, waste, and abuse in the SNAP programs that the head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture has said the Trump administration is planning to have everyone reapply for the SNAP benefits. This is after a probe into a number of Republican-led states found about 186,000 cases of fraud. This is in Republican-led states. Imagine what it looks like in New York, California, Illinois, Massachusetts. We could go on and on and on. It was Secretary Brooke Rollins saying that the alleged fraud was running rampant around the SNAP program, claiming 186,000 deceased men and women in children in this country are receiving a check in 29 red states. Can you imagine when we get our hands on the blue state data, what we're going to find? She said during an interview on Newsmax. She said it's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to fundamentally rebuild this program, have everyone reapply for the benefit, make sure that everyone's taking taxpayer-funded benefits through SNAP or food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable, that they can't survive without it. The Agriculture Secretary did not say when or how people would reapply for benefits, but Secretary Rollins wants to ensure that waste, fraud, and abuse of SNAP ends, a USDA spokesperson told the New York Post. Rates of fraud were only previously assumed, and President Trump is doing something about it, using standard recertification processes for households as part of that work, as well as ongoing analysis of state data, further regulatory work, and improved collaboration with states. They added, state SNAP administrators already require those receiving benefits to recertify their information as often as 6 months, with families expected to keep their income and personal information up to date. But despite the regular recertification process, Rollins alleged that the SNAP program was corrupt, adding that 120 Americans recently were arrested for SNAP fraud, a reference to last week's bust in Ohio. That case was a culmination of 11 months of investigative work into 17,000 illegal transactions that took place using SNAP benefits. I said, these are the things that we're uncovering that for years, nobody's even dug into. Again, she said that during her Newsmax interview. The president has made this a priority, and we're going to fix this program. The crackdown comes after SNAP benefits were thrown into chaos after the government shutdown. This is the silver lining, right, of the government shutdown. We got our eyes on a lot of different things. And the SNAP benefits are going to receive a major overhaul. But we need to see more focus on affordability. It's not just SNAP benefits that's causing a bit of an affordability crisis here in the country, though that's part of it. It's like it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? Scott Bessent went out and he hit the weekend shows to talk about the economy. And he said, listen, come 2026, you're going to see a massive improvement in this country. This was Scott Bessent on with Maria Bartiromo yesterday.
The cost of living, Maria, is two parts. So we inherited this terrible inflation. We are flattening it out. I believe we're going to push it down. Energy prices are down. Interest rates are down. But the real thing that is going to happen that is going to give Americans real purchasing power increases, it's going to be through growth. We passed the one big, beautiful bill. I am also the IRS commissioner, and I can see that working Americans, thanks to the president living up to his campaign promises, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. If you buy an American car, there are going to be substantial refunds in the first quarter of 26. Working Americans will change their withholdings, and they will get a bump up in their real incomes. So I would expect in the first 2 quarters, we are going to see the inflation curve bend down and the real income curve substantially accelerate. And when those two lines cross, Americans are going to feel it. But Maria, I will tell you what we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is tell the American people that they don't know how they're feeling, which is what the Biden administration did. They said it was a vibe session. You don't know how good you have it. And we are working every day to get these prices down.
Need more Scott Bessent in our lives. He's a calming voice when it comes to the economy. And he explains things. He's like, we're not going to gaslight you. Things can be better, and we're working on it. This is the kind of messaging that we need from the Trump administration. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett was also out and about. He was on ABC this week with Jonathan Karl. His focus was also on the purchasing power of the American people and how it has improved since the days of Joe Biden and his administration.
Well, first of all, if you look at the history of inflation, right, what happened was that there was runaway Democrat spending in Joe Biden's term, and we got inflation up almost to 10%. It averaged 5% over the 4 years. And that has created a situation where, for example, mortgage rates went up. And so the typical payment for a monthly mortgage payment almost doubled. A bag of groceries that cost $400 a month when President Trump left office is $500 or $515 when President Trump came back this time. And so that there's this really big hole that's been dug. And then the question you could also ask as an economist is, how do I summarize all those different prices and everything? And one of the ways you could do it is just look at purchasing power, the real wage. Purchasing power, I'll just finish this and then I'll get back to it. The purchasing power dropped by about $3,000 under Joe Biden because the wages didn't keep up with prices. Under President Trump, it's already gone up by about $1,200. We understand that people still feel the pain of the high prices, but we're closing the gap and filling the gap fast.
I don't want to.
This is what we need to do. Yes, your purchasing power fell $3,000 under Joe Biden. It's up $1,200 under Trump. We haven't closed that gap yet. But don't lie to the American people. Don't say everything's great, everything's rosy. Be completely honest with them. This is the focus. Americans are saying, listen, it's still too expensive at the grocery store. And when people get mad at us for being critical of President Trump, I would just say he listens. You have to be critical. You have to raise these concerns because then it changes the focus of the administration. We saw that over the weekend. Scott Bessent, he addressed the high prices on groceries. He says, we're going to be aiming to save you money on beef, on coffee, on bananas. This is Scott Bessent.
So not only will the tariffs come off some of the things you just listed, like coffee, like the cocoa, many other bananas, many other items. That's a result of the trade deals going through, and then we will see this go down. And we're also seeing the import barriers for the other countries come through. So this is a complete trade policy, and now we are going to see it affect the prices.
We all said that Donald Trump's policies with the tariffs was going to cause a little bit of pain in the beginning with some real upside on the back end. And if we can get through the holiday season, we can get into 2026, the first quarter, and we start to see this rebound, Americans' memories are short. And this affordability crisis isn't going to impact the midterms the way it should be. But it's going to require a full effort by the Trump administration and focus by the Trump administration to fix it. It sounds like they have their priorities in order. And Scott Bessent says that it looks like the Supreme Court will side with Donald Trump on the tariffs, because this is another big question. Okay, well, what happens with the tariffs in the next month or so with the Supreme Court decision? Scott Bessent is pretty confident that because this is a main policy of the president, it's a signature policy, that the Supreme Court is not going to rule against it.
I want to say this in the strongest possible terms. I think that there are 3 points here. Is one, this is one of President Trump's signature policies, and traditionally the Supreme Court does not interfere with a president's signature policy. 2, this is an emergency authority, which is IEPA. President Trump has successfully used that. To, as we talked about earlier, on the rare earths problem, he threatened substantial tariffs on China, and that made the rare earths flow.
Yes.
2, numerous of the peace deals that he's negotiated, he threatened to put tariffs on the countries, and that got us to the peace deal. 3, when we're talking about fentanyl, we had fentanyl tariffs. And what is more of an emergency than hundreds of thousands of Americans dying every year? No one had been able to get the Chinese to the table with these precursor drugs.
Right.
And then 3, I would push this back onto the Supreme Court. I don't think this ruling is going to go against us, but if it does, what's their plan for refunds? Because how is this going to get to consumers? Are they just going to hand some of these importers big windfalls? What if the exporters have given big discounts already, and then you're going to give a refund on the tariff? So they'd be making it on both sides. So I don't think the Supreme Court wants to wade into a mess like that.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. But Scott Bessent is making his case that the Supreme Court is going to side with Trump. Signature policy. We'll see what happens. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. We'll see what happens when it happens. And then after the Supreme Court makes the decision, then we just got to either change the plan accordingly or carry the ball down the field moving forward. One thing that I noticed in the Scott Bessent interview with Maria Bartiromo was he brought something up that I was worried was going to start to take a back seat. It's the conversation of nuking the filibuster. And I worry that it's going to take a back seat because now that the government shutdown is over, it doesn't seem as much of a hot button issue. But I do think that this needs to be a focus of Republicans and conservatives. If we want to really fully see the Trump agenda implemented, nuking the filibuster is a key component of that. Scott Bessent brought it up with Maria Bartiromo.
Down again and refused to negotiate. I'm 100% with the president. The Senate should go straight and forget the filibuster, and Republicans should vote to fund the government without the Democrats. I'm very happy to see 8 brave Democrats came across, but this economic damage is unacceptable. They call it self-harm. They were willing to harm the economy of the United States to benefit a party in chaos.
Yeah. Well,
he's absolutely right. Did you see the Dave Ramsey meme going around? I don't know if you've seen the Dave Ramsey memes. It's just disappointed Dave Ramsey. And it says, so let me tell you something. We took the same deal that was offered on day one, and all we lost was like $90 billion for the U.S. economy. And it's just a disappointed Dave Ramsey looking. And this is where we're at. The Democrats don't care who they hurt. The Democrats care about power. And when the Democrats get back into office, they're going to nuke the filibuster. If the Democrats get back into office. You know what's going to make that harder? If we nuke the filibuster first. And we mandate voter ID. And we scrap mail-in ballots. It's going to be an uphill battle for a Democrat to ever win an election again. We need to do this. Imagine what we could get done without the filibuster standing in our way. Scott Bessent's absolutely right. Again, Scott's a calming voice when it comes to the economy stuff. Smart guy. He explains it the way anybody off the street can understand, and he makes a lot of sense. I pray that he's right about the Supreme Court and the tariffs. I think that's a great negotiating tool for the president. I think it's bringing a lot of wealth into this country, either in terms of investment or trade deals. Take your pick. But I hope that he's right with that. And I hope that the Republicans don't let up on nuking the filibuster, although it's the Republicans. So they've probably already let up on the conversation to nuke the filibuster. We'll keep you posted on that, should more information become available. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Holidays on the way. How about you get your wife or your husband the perfect gift a little bit early? I'm talking about a pain-free holidays. Who's going to do it? The Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're tired of back pain, knee pain, neck pain, ruining your life or ruining your loved one's life, well, listen to this. This Christmas gift is not going to break the bank. It's just $12. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. It will land you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. No matter what you're dealing with, back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley will treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you won't find, painful injections, surgery, or opioids. That's not their style, but they will get you back to a pain-free life and fast. Whether it's you or someone you love, call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today. Tell them you want the Big Daddy Trump Special. Tell them you got the $12. You're ready to go. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
New allegations of sexual assault against Sean Diddy Combs. This story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's 11:25, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken, you feeling good today?
I'm feeling good, Brother Chris.
Have anything to do with your Oklahoma boys?
That was good. Whew, that was good. That helps.
We're already getting messages on the text line that you're a bit too happy today.
That's just called 4 days of rest.
Oh, okay.
That's all that is. And a couple of cups of coffee.
Yeah, you were off Friday.
I was off Thursday and Friday.
Beast. Did you go anywhere fun?
Yeah, we rented a big old farmhouse outside of Eagleville. My family from Tulsa came in, and We just hung out in the country.
That's dope, man. Well, good for you guys.
Loved it.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you, brother.
Did you hear Governor DeSantis?
I did not.
Governor DeSantis, I don't know if he's just putting his finger in the air and seeing which way the wind is blowing. He's gauging potential for a presidential run in 2028. But statements like this will win a lot of people over.
But, you have some strain on the right that says, oh, no, illegal immigration is bad. Legal immigration, no matter what, is good. And wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying any of it's that it's all bad or what, but is bringing 10 million people from like Somalia and dumping them into Georgia, is that good because it's legal? I think you have to think critically about what are we doing with an immigration policy, and is it benefiting the American people? Is it helping to promote a strong American culture? We should never bring people into this country who hate America.
That seems pretty apparent, yet we've seen a lot of that, welcoming in newcomers who hate America. I think DeSantis is laying some groundwork here.
So that does sound like that.
Now, there's a lot of truth to these statements, and we've seen in places like Ohio. Remember, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, where you bring in a lot of people legally, and it ruins communities. We've seen that in Pennsylvania as well, small towns. I think it was Charleroi, Pennsylvania, where they had more Haitian kids at the school than they had American kids. So, yeah, you can say you're doing it legally, but does it actually help America? DeSantis continues.
And when I when I look at like Mindami's dad and listening to the stuff he's saying about America being the story, I'm like, why would we have wanted somebody like that to come? I mean, especially if you think America is so bad. So we have to be smart. It's lazy thinking to say anything that's legal must necessarily be good. Some of these companies game these systems with bringing cheap labor. So there's a whole host of things, but don't do what Europe did. Europe did a mass migration that was legal, that was intentional, and it's proven to be disastrous. So as conservatives, we must think.
He's right. I mean, Europe committed suicide. Let's not beat around the bush. Europe is essentially lost. You look at some of these cities, and they don't look like European cities whatsoever. DeSantis sounds like he's gearing up for a 2028 run. DeSantis actually isn't the only guy that's rumored to be gearing up for a 2028 run. We're also hearing from Axios that Ted Cruz is laying the groundwork for a 2028 presidential run. He's free to run. I think he's going to have an uphill battle. Same with DeSantis against a guy like J.D. Vance. The Axios article says the Senator, Ted Cruz, is also diving into issues that are tearing at President Trump's MAGA movement, namely ideological differences over Israel, saying we have a responsibility to speak out even when it's uncomfortable, Cruz said in a statement to Axios. When voices in our own movement push dangerous and misguided ideas, we can't look the other way. I won't hesitate to call out those who peddle destructive, vile rhetoric and threaten our principles and our future. Silence in the face of recklessness is not an option. Now, Ted Cruz is referring to Tucker Carlson. He's referring to Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes, which is funny because President Trump was asked about this yesterday, the Tucker Carlson Nick Fuentes interview, and President Trump was like, yeah, he can interview anybody he wants, actually. It's weird. Battle the ideas, but by all means, in the free marketplace of ideas, battle the ideas. But don't censor people. Don't silence people. This was President Trump last night.
I've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
Don't cancel, don't silence, debate the ideas. And the conversation went on. They asked him about Mamdani a little bit. And then President Trump was asked about Fuentes one more time.
And along with a few other people, he brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way.
No, you're not. Not controversial at all. 11:31, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in California, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department says it is looking into new allegations of sexual assault against Sean Diddy Combs. L.A. officials say they're investigating the report from Florida where the alleged victim lives. Police in Largo took a report from a man who claims Combs sexually assaulted him in 2020. Here's Aaron Katursky.
The complaint was brought in Largo, Florida. That was turned over to the authorities in Los Angeles County. And it's up to them now, I suppose, to substantiate whether there's any there. Otherwise, it becomes like the multiple dozen civil lawsuits against Sean Combs, which so far have gone nowhere.
So this alleged victim's name is redacted on the report, but music producer Jonathan Hay apparently told a local TV station he filed the report. The skies over America getting back to normal. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac at BNA says the FAA stopped flight reductions at 40 major airports nationwide this morning. That means airlines can resume their normal operations and fly at their full capacity.
As of 5 o'clock this morning, the FAA has lifted an emergency order. It was put in place to relieve the strain on air traffic controllers during the government shutdown. Even though Nashville was not on the list of the 40 airports that had to reduce flights, people here still felt the impact. The reductions at other airports and staffing issues still cause delays and occasional ground stops. The agency says staffing levels have now stabilized, and they're seeing far less staffing trigger events, which is what initially set off those reductions in the first place.
Airlines now expect everything to be back to normal by Thanksgiving. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I love the guys over at Busy Bee. They got some great deals going on for you, but they said hold off on the deals. Tell them what we need to do here at the end of November 1st. And I love these guys. They're doing a big coat drive to collect coats for needy families in the Lebanon and the Mount Juliet area. This is the November 2025 coat drive dates. On November 25th, Tuesday, they're going to kick off the coat drive from 3 to 6 p.m. at Seven Cedars Butcher Block on Lebanon Square. And then on November 30th, that's a Sunday, the parking lot of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce from 2 to 4 p.m. If you got a gently used coat, think about donating it. That way we can keep families warm here in Middle Tennessee all winter long. Now, if you need to make sure your home is running smooth before the holidays, take advantage of the 93 or free mainline opening special. The guys at Busy Bee are going to clear your main line for $93 or it's free. That's a November-only deal. It's a great way to keep the home running smooth before the holidays hit. And if you got a favorite Thanksgiving Day recipe, well, share it. You can win $2,000 off a new HVAC system. The runner-up is going to get $1,000 off. Winners are going to be announced on Facebook Live November 21st. But again, let's not bury the lead. 93 or free mainline opening special is going on now from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call. Take advantage of it. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybeehvac.com. It's 11:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are 1 week away from our More Than a Meal Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. Really excited. Love this organization. Love what they do for us here in Nashville and Middle Tennessee. And I love that they do it without a dollar from the government. They don't use a dollar of federal money. They're not using your tax dollars, but they're asking for the community to help them once again. And I love the focus that they have, the Nashville Rescue Mission. You're only going to fix this by focusing on a higher power, and that's Jesus Christ. He's baked into the mission. So we love supporting these guys. We're going to do it one more time here on Monday, our More Than a Meal Radiothon. You can get a jump on donating or learn more, 997WTN.com or NashvilleRescueMission.org. We love those guys. Looking forward to that day. It's going to be super special, and we thank you guys in advance for all the help that you are going to provide as well. With that being said, it's time now for Anecdotally, the most critically acclaimed segment of the entire Chris Hand Show. People love it. People love it. We like to call it the Lightning Round.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
Every day at this time, all the stories that we couldn't get to, stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment, and, just random stuff. We do it. We like to call it the Lightning Round. Sometimes we're quicker to the lightning. Other days we're slow to the lightning. It's just like any good storm. It's unpredictable.
Never know.
You never know. You never know. First story in the Lightning Round. This is a wild one. And I think that if this happened to me, if I walked into a place of business and I saw this, I would turn 180 degrees and walk right out of there. I almost said turn 360 degrees because I wanted to troll the super text line. But then I was like, I'd have to kind of like lean into it a little bit more and then prove that I'm not an idiot, that's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So
you got a lot of cases against you.
So I decided to just stick with 180.
Also, watching you do a twirl in the store would be a little weird.
Can't do it. I tried. I wanted to spin around, but I couldn't do it.
Can't do it.
So.
Heard it here first, folks. Chris can never do a 360.
First story in the Lightning Round. Modern problems require modern solutions. Okay? I think we all know that. You know
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah. So they've raised minimum wage in a lot of these big blue cities, to take care of the struggling fast food worker, right? We've seen it. California did it a bunch of places. New York has done this as well. Multiple restaurants in New York City have found a way around paying minimum wage.
Oh.
You ready for this?
Lay it on me.
Zoom calls with a cashier. And the cashier is actually in the Philippines, where instead of the minimum wage that you have to get paid in New York, you can pay them $3.25 to field FaceTime videos with hungry customers.
No way.
I got a video to prove it. It's creepy. It's a dystopian reality. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, hit like and subscribe while you're there. But the video is wild. Everything's on the screen. And yes, spoiler alert, they're still asking for tips for their Philippine, for their outsourced Philippine cashiers. So watch this.
What do I do to order food? Yes, they have a vehicle in front of you. Okay, over there? Yeah. Yeah. And where are you located right now? Can I ask you? I'm in the Philippines. You're in the Philippines? What do you recommend?
So the woman's in the Philippines fielding things from a Zoom call. And I stopped it there because the lady who's videoing this has the most hilarious question. What do you recommend? As if the woman who's being paid $3.25 an hour in the Philippines could A, afford the food at this restaurant in New York, and B, afford the travel to New York to try the food at said restaurant. This is happening at San San Chicken, San San Ramen, and Yasso Kitchen locations in Manhattan, Queens, and Jersey City. Zoom calls with your cashier.
We have the M4. The M4? the stuffing on regular and
She's actually giving recommendations on the menu. Nobody believes you, ma'am. Nobody believes that you've tried any of this food. This is crazy. So we'll be following this kind of stuff. I'm sure this is something that you're going to see a lot more places. They should tariff that. I don't know how. Tariff everything.
Can you mess with the background on those calls? Like,
yeah, oh yeah, dude. She's got she's got a blue screen or a green screen background.
Yeah, because I was looking at that, I was like, oh wait, no way. She printed out a big bulletin or like cardboard piece of paper, printed it out, put it behind her as a big like funding for whatever restaurant.
Yasso Kitchen.
You think she works at all 3 locations?
Probably.
Or switches the background?
Probably. Stand by. Our cashier will be with you momentarily. There's a line at our other restaurant that she's also double dutying for.
Do you think she got the face effects as well? Like
like smooth everything out?
Yeah, or like adding a mustache or cowboy hat?
I don't know. That mustache seems pretty authentic on that lady. I will say this, steamed buns are delicious.
They are great.
So if you haven't had a steamed bun, you're missing out. I prefer Brothers Ramen in Murfreesboro.
Brothers Ramen is so good.
Dude, it's so money.
Oh, I miss it so much.
I'm hungry now. And you know what you'd find at the restaurant in Murfreesboro, though? A real cashier.
Real cashier. Cool people.
Weird how that happens. All right, got another strip for you here in the lightning round. I don't know how to break this news to you. It's I'm sad.
Last one was already hard. What do you do? What's going on, man?
I'm sad that I have to be the one to break this to you. MSNBC is dead.
What?
It's official. They have rebranded to MS Now. And they put together a little hype video for it. Do you want to do the hype video?
Do we have to?
I feel like we have to.
It'd be a disservice if not.
MS, it's only 5 seconds. It's only 5 seconds. We the people. MS Now. Same mission, new name. Same mission, new name. So just distorting facts for the American people is the same mission. We're going to lie through our teeth. They posted a tweet, said, today MSNBC becomes MS Now. My source for news, opinion, and the world. While our name has changed, who we are has not. Do they not understand the problem? That's what they needed to change, not the name. You changed the wrong thing. They said you'll find the same commitment to justice, progress, and the truth. So little to none. Little to none. Congratulations and RIP at the exact same time. How do you rebrand the network, but you don't fire any of the lousy anchors? Like Lawrence O'Donnell still works there. So Breitbart News reported that NBC News has laid off hundreds of employees as its parent company, the Comcast-owned NBC Universal News Group, was splitting news outlets such as USA Network, CNBC, MSNBC from NBC News. MS Now. Who is anybody going to buy this? Elon should buy it. I don't know if it's a good investment though.
Should we dead name them until Elon buys it?
Oh, we should dead name them. It's MSNBC to me, damn it.
You can't change.
I like that. We should dead name them. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one revolves around the NBA. The National Basketball Association is telling teams to provide cell phone data in gambling probe. This is going to get a bit worse, I feel, before it gets better for the National Basketball League. They're telling several teams to provide cell phone data as officials continue the investigation into players' illegal gambling. The NBA is requesting the data and other documentation from several teams after federal officers arrested Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, Heat guard Terry Rozier, and many others in connection with gambling investigation, according to Sports Illustrated. The law firm Wachtel, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz has reportedly been contracted to help the NBA investigate the charges, according to The Athletic. According to reports, close LeBron James associates, Lakers assistant trainer Mike Mancias, and executive administrator Randy Mims have voluntarily handed over their own cell phone data. Neither Lakers officials have been charged with any violations. The NBA engaged an independent law firm to investigate the allegations in the indictment once it was made public. An NBA spokesperson told The Athletic. As it is standard in these kinds of investigations, a number of different individuals and organizations were asked to preserve documents and records. Everyone has been fully cooperative. Does anybody actually believe that if the NBA is doing their own investigation, that we're ever going to get to the bottom of it, how bad the gambling scandal was, how deep it went? I would imagine that the NBA would be in full CYA mode, cover their own arse, if you will. That would be my bet.
You'd think.
What do I know?
Yeah.
I'm but a humble radio DJ. Some say the most humble, not me. I don't do that. Chauncey Billups is denied all wrongdoing after being arrested in the gambling probe. His lawyer said, anyone who knows Chauncey Billups knows he's a man of integrity. Men of integrity do not cheat and defraud others. That was their statement. Billups was charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. He's going to be arraigned in New York on November 24th. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says he's deeply disturbed by the investigation. So that's probably why we're getting their own investigation that nobody's going to have any confidence in. Just wasted money. Right? Didn't they do this already one time when the ref was betting on everybody?
Yeah.
And all they really did was stifle the FBI investigation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually tracks.
Sounds about right.
Got time for one more story here in the lightning round. This one also centers around sports and New York. Sending prayers out to Jets cornerback who's in critical condition after being shot in New York. Chris Boyd was shot around 2 a.m. Sunday morning in Manhattan, which is just insane because of the strict gun laws that they have in New York City, that somebody could even get into the city with a gun, let alone shoot someone with it. I'm shocked. ABC7 reported that officers responded to a report of a shooting and found 29-year-old Boyd suffering from a gunshot wound to his abdomen. The New York Post noted that Boyd was shot in the abdomen outside Céleste, a restaurant. After a dispute that turned violent, he's now in critical condition at Bellevue Hospital. A rep for the Jets addressed the situation, saying, "We are aware of this involving Chris Boyd and will have no further comment at this time." Breitbart News reported previously that Bloomberg-affiliated Everytown for Gun Safety ranks New York as number 4 in the country for stringent gun control. Those controls include magazine capacity restrictions, assault weapons ban, red flag laws, concealed carry permit requirement, gun storage laws, a Glock switch ban, a bump stock ban, ghost gun regulations, micro-stamping requirements for new pistols, and prohibition against law-abiding licensed citizens from being armed for self-defense in, I quote, sensitive places. All of this, and they still couldn't stop gun violence. I say all this to attack New York, not Chris Boyd. Prayers up for him. I hope he makes a full recovery, and we'll bring you any updates as they become available in this case. Jets cornerback still in critical condition after being shot in gun-controlled New York City. That does it for the lightning round. It's 11:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Holidays are getting here. They're going to be here before you know it. You having family over for the holidays? Let me tell you this before it becomes an issue. Your carpets are gross. And I'm just telling you this because I love you. I'm just being honest with you. They're nasty. They're just nasty stuff. Just call Zero Res. Get it cleaned up before the family gets there. They're going to use the Maha of carpet cleaning. Their exclusive ZR water. They're not leaving behind any soap, any residue, any harsh chemicals. All they're going to leave behind are super clean carpets that you don't have to stress about. It's not just carpets. They do everything. Air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. So if you're having family come over for the holidays, clean it up before they get here. Right now, $45, any room in the house, they'll take care of. ZeroResNashville.com to book online or give them a call today. 4,500 Google reviews, 98% Facebook recommendations. These people can't be wrong. I use Zero Res myself. I'm telling you, they're the best. 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376, or book online, ZeroResNashville.com. It's 11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason Fleming producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Chad Benson's in studio.
What's up?
So during the lightning round, we were talking about the new rebrand for MSNBC.
Now.
It's MS Now. I got some texts.
What does that even mean?
5286 says, MS Now sounds like an STD awareness campaign.
It does. That sounds weird. MS Now.
And Rick texted in and said, now stands for no one watches.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very, very true.
How was your weekend, man?
It was good, man. How was yours?
Can't complain. We had a good time.
It was nice. It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
I need more of those. I got to be honest. I'm like,
I need more. I could use 2 weekends a week.
I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to some days off.
Let's go.
And just relaxing and not having to talk about anything.
All right. So are you staying local for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we're staying local for Thanksgiving.
Is anybody coming in?
No. We're going to have Bell over for dinner, but that's it. Nobody else is coming in.
Once they knew Bell was coming, everybody
That's it.
started.
Once they knew Bell was there, we're like,
coming.
we can't come because of Bell.
Like,
but that's it. We're not going to, we've got, that's it. We're just going to hang out. I like that.
Do you do full turkey?
Oh, yeah. We'll do full turkey.
Full turkey.
Big time. My wife, she will lay out a spread and a half. Bell's like, what are we having for dinner? I'm like, just shut up and show up, okay?
Everything.
Yeah. Like, what do you think we're going to have? We're going to have Thai food.
We were just talking about steamed buns a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
A little soft.
So
Hawaiian
good.
buns.
Oh,
I get the
my
Hawaiian
gosh.
rolls. Oh.
No, I'm like the Asian steamed buns.
Yeah. But I'm like, we'll have Hawaiian rolls. We'll have a bunch of good stuff. You know what? It's what's supposed to be. It's turkey time. Right?
I'm excited.
I'm pumped. I can't wait. And I'm also excited to not have to talk about stuff. Just have like 4 or 5 days of nothing.
Oh, isn't that the best?
It is. Just to get your mind clear, reset yourself.
Do you think that we're going to have the lull in the news cycle next week? Or do you think that we're just going to keep bombing Venezuelan boats?
I think we'll have a lull towards Thanksgiving. Doesn't mean some stuff won't happen, but it's not going to be 24/7 chaos.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm more of a chaos agent myself. I like a good bit of chaos.
To a certain extent, but after a while it becomes, is it real or is it just chaos for chaos sake? Because after a while that gets boring.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
it feels WWF-esque.
Yeah.
A lot of the beef. What do you think about Trump versus Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Oh, just
two of your favorites.
It's it's insane. Same thing with and then you got Laura Loomer versus Thomas Massey. Just again, like, where are the adults? Well, Massey was pretty much an adult about it. He's like, whatever. But still, Laura Loomer, what are you doing?
I love it.
Just go away. You need to go away.
What are you talking about on the show today?
We're talking a bit about AI and the dead. It's very interesting. They've got this new thing now where you can talk to dead family members and stuff.
Dude, that's spooky.
It is kind of creepy.
Would you do that?
No, I'm hard no on that one.
It feels like Superman when he got on the ship, and then he's talking to his dad. It feels like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where how do I talk to somebody that died 30 years ago that I don't have any voice stuff with? I don't have it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that?
It's really
That's the thing. It's like, okay, I could see 40 years from now, maybe something because of technology. But now it just seems weird. I'm going to go hard pass on that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a super hard pass on that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about cost of living. Is the American dream dead when it comes to housing? As more and more people are going, where are we going to get a house? You better start learning how to build one.
Lincoln Logs. Start
Logs.
now. Yeah, plan it out. Chad's in next. 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WT.